Welcome to this dream project, We the Nation India. I would like to share it with all of you before starting that temptation to develop this website came in my mind after traveling all across India for the last 25 years. I had been addressing and imparting youth, especially for civil services examination, but simultaneously I was very much keen to develop their personality and a stronger concern for the nation. I found that majority of them, I would say majority of them are like sophisticated ship without compass. Engineers, doctors, management graduates, and apart from simple graduates even, I have seen them that they are very keen to know what is happening all around, but they are not able to get the thing, and that is missing. That's the reason they are missing that concern among them. And youth in general seem to be self-centric, more and more thinking about their own career. And because of that, we have in India lots of ism. We have regionalism, we have localism, we have Maoism, Naxalism, we have linguism, but we are missing a stronger sense of nationalism. Yes, and this temptation made me feel like we should develop a website to promote national awareness in the simplest possible form. Let me clarify that India has already completed 75 years of Quit India movement, 70 years of independence, 25 years of missile program which was launched in 1992, 25 years of indigenous fabrication of multi-purpose communication satellite which made India today IT superpower, 20 years of RBI autonomy to RBI I would say, which isolated politics from economy in India. And all these development made us realize that let us come forward to launch a non-commercial website to generate concern among youth, especially with reference to what we have got and what we have lost in last 70 years and more. Of course 70 years is not a big deal in the life of a nation, but yes, even then we are supposed to look back so that we would be able to plan future, and we will hand over better India, the best India to our next generation. Let me start from society, because I am going to cover what happened in society, what happened in culture, in politics, in administration, in economy, in technology, in education, in environment, in defense, in diplomacy, and in simplest possible form. I will try my level best to make it in simplest possible form so that youth, even in undergraduate, or even they are censor candidates in the school level, they would be able to understand what I am trying to share with them. First thing, think of society, all of you, please think of. Earlier, I would say before economic reform in India that happened in 1991, women in general were confined to their home as typical housewife. But after economic reform, you see, you must have seen women now operating, participating in every sector of nation, from defense to science to art, culture, and it was really beyond expression that when they projected, they demonstrated daredevil on the eve of 26th January Republic Day, and 10 Asian leaders were watching. Even President of India got emotional for a moment, and really it was hats off to them. My God, they have shown their physical and mental strength as well. And I must say now that not only people in Haryana would say hamari chodiyan chodo se kam hai ke, I would say now father all across India would feel so, and they will promote. And unless we are able to utilize our women resources, what is 50% human resources, we won't be able to become a developed country and stronger nation tomorrow. Yes. So now you see women in every sector of society. Likewise, if you see culture, earlier religion, yoga, spiritualism, all were confined to certain section of society. But don't you think today yoga has become a household name? And yes, it has emerging and fast emerging as service sector of India. and naturally it will lead to health for all. Of course, health is wealth, everywhere it applies. You see in politics what we have got. During Nehruji, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, it was dominance of one party, and because of that what happened, it happens. It's not we are blaming to anyone. That regional problem remains sidelined. They were not able to address regional problem the way it should have been. And because of that, regional parties started coming up, multi-party system came to India. Then we got into climax of coalition government in India led by Atal Bihari Vajpayee from 1999 to 2004. He had more than 24 coalition partners in his government. That was climax of coordination, and he proved himself as the world-class coordinator as Prime Minister of India. So we have seen in politics one party dominance and multi-party government also, and now we are making U-turn. Once again one party is dominating all across India. But yes, I would say they have learned from the past and they won't commit the same mistake, I hope so, and they would like to address the regional problems, because regional party in general have failed to address regional problem. That way we are growing in politics. Likewise in administration, you see, before 90 our administration was mostly academic, a scholarly kind of people joining administration. But it was a big slap on our face. 26/11 took place when we realized that no, we need applied, we need a administrator from knowing ground realities, and because of that civil services reform took place in India through ARC2, Administrative Reform Commission 2, led by Veerappa Moily, and thereafter of course we are having administrators of multidisciplinary approach, applied approach, knowing ground realities. They are more concerned about rule of situation than rule of law. This is it. This is a fantastic development. Let me come to economy of India. Young people of India, we are so lucky that number of times we go through studies. How could India get into economic crisis in 1991? And you know, India was in such a serious crisis that our foreign currency reserve had just $2.2 billion. India was about to be declared as bankrupt country. Today we have around $400 billion on an average. You know, in that economic crisis, it was India, of course led by R.C.Sinha Rao, who made crisis-ridden reform. It was compelling situation to reform India. And economic reform cannot be isolated to economy. That changed India's society, culture, politics, administration, education, everything changed. And you see, before economic reform, I would say Indian economy was very closed economy, higher custom duty, money was non-convertible, FERA was imposed to restrict flow of foreign currency as well as foreign products, to promote domestic industries and domestic product and services. But after economic reform, everything started changing fast. It was drastic decision, of course, and Indian economy got open. Custom duty sliced down to around 10% on an average. We opened maximum area for foreign investments, and of course we are struggling hard even today to make India global India, because Rome cannot be built in a day. Yes. During economic reform, one thing that's of course painful experience in my professional career, that majority of the youth I interacted, I wanted to know that do they really feel, do they have real concern that how could India come out of that crisis? Who was the architect of India's economic reform, and how India passed through second generation of economic reform? I generally found shaky, in spite of the fact they have talent, they have substance. So I would share that, you see, economy is the core of every country of the world. Entire system revolves around economy. So economic reform should not be taken as just reform in one sector. If you remember Chanakya has written details of that politics and administration by which artha, economy, could be acquired and secured. So that great man long back, more than 2000 years ago, has said that entire system should revolve around economy. And so when economy is under reform, entire system comes under reform. So I would like to share with you, along with economic reform, our education system has started changing, because economic advancement need technical advancement, and for technical advancement we need more technical education. For more technical education, we have now more and more engineering and medical colleges. They are competing against each other, and I must say, after traveling all across India, that B.Tech has become basic degree now. Majority of the candidates are, it's not only engineers and doctors are technical, they are going for designing courses, they are going for filmmaking courses. But yes, this is fantastic change, and because of their opting towards technical education, technical institutions are increasing in India. And apart from that, it is a remarkable change in civil services of India, that optional like mechanical, civil, electrical engineering, management, medical science gave them green signal that technocrats of India join bureaucracy, and all of us have today realized that unless technocracy and bureaucracy put their head together, no country could be developed, including India. And that's a fantastic change in our civil services also. Majority are technocrats to deal with e-governance, e-administration, and I must say now we are heading towards e-life. In technology, if you see, earlier we had been confined to conventional technology. After economic reform, we have information technology, communication technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, genetic engineering, biotechnology. A fantastic change has taken place in India, and of course we have to generate proportional employment. Otherwise we will lose, and we are losing this talent, and this is the basic reason behind brain drain. I would address there are two types of brain drain happening in India. One is external, leaving the country. Other is from technocracy to bureaucracy. That is also internal brain drain. But yes, second type of brain drain is serving nation. But first type of brain drain is just earning foreign currency. That should be minimized to maximize second type of brain drain. I hope you would be able to understand what I am trying to share with you. Yes, and finally I would say in defense, if you see, earlier before economic reform, that was bipolar world, two superpowers, Soviet and America, and of course India had been mostly inclined towards Soviet. But you see, after fall of Soviet in 1991, world became unipolar, and India needed to ensure its own minimum security requirement because of hostile world. And in spite of having economic crisis, that point of time we launched missile program. We started modernizing our defense system, and today no reason to think twice that our defense has become offensive also. We have carried out surgical strike to send strong signal to those hostile neighbors that they cannot take India granted. Yes, and this what you say earlier, you must have read about it, that offense is the best defense. In terms of foreign policy, I would like to remind all of you, whether you know the technicality or don't know, that makes no difference, that India had been pro-Soviet in bipolar world. Means when USA and Soviet had been two superpowers in the world, India had been mostly pro-Soviet. It was also because of the reason that in 1971 Indo-Pak War, Soviet came forward in support of India by extending military support, of course, when India sustained nuclear warning from USA. That was the great reminder to India, and thereafter Indira Gandhi was compelled to carry out nuclear explosion in 1974 to ensure minimum security requirement, in spite of the fact that India was struggling at that point of time against poverty, hunger, starvation, etc. But national security cannot be compromised in any case. And I would add, after fall of Soviet Union in 1991, world became unipolar. And in unipolar, of course, US was very much hostile to India, and India had to ensure minimum security requirement. For that reason, it is great Mr. Narasimha Rao, who seems to be forgotten hero today, that he launched missile program in spite of having all sorts of economic crisis. And today our defense is like more offensive than defensive, to send a strong signal to hostile neighbors that they cannot take India granted. So you see today foreign policy, before in bipolar world it was towards pro-Soviet. After in unipolar world we had been trying to ensure our own security requirement, but 9/11 compelled USA to come closer to India, and if India needed US US also needed India. Thereafter we came closer, and now instead of looking at west or east, our present Prime Minister is trying to explore all the options, looking all around and exploring relation with all, whether next door neighbor or far off neighbor, whether developed country or developing country, whether nuclear country or non-nuclear weapon country. So this is the best part of foreign policy of India today, to explore the world, because there may be certain mistakes, but I would like to conclude that it is better to explore life and make mistakes instead of playing it safe and explore not at all. Let us explore the world. Every Indian must feel proud of that India exploring the world. Yes, thank you. God bless, and thank you again for watching.